tune. I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna be invited. I never liked the dad. The dad never liked me.
Why not?
He's not a human being.
Girl, why that lady almost slip up and call Joe Jackson a bigot? Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's lookies would be our Priscilla personality frames. I think this would be number 2. And our black turban. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. On January 27th, 1984, I was home with Mother when we received a phone call alerting us that Michael had been badly injured in an accident at the Shrine Auditorium, where he and the brothers were filming a commercial for Pepsi. The caller wasn't very specific, saying only that he'd been rushed to the hospital. We raced to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and met Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy, all badly shaken in the waiting room. The auditorium had been packed with screaming fans as the guys performed for the cameras time and again. Michael was to make his entrance dancing down a large staircase to a revised version of Billie Jean. When he appeared at the top, a single explosion was timed to go off and illuminate him. Before this time, the director asked him to hold his pose a few seconds longer. When he did, the device detonated too early, setting his hair ablaze. For a couple of seconds, Michael didn't realize what happened. But as he went into a choreographed spin at the bottom of the stairs, he suddenly screamed, "Tito, pause." That's telling, because you got all your brothers there, but you holler for Tito. Now that's beautiful, okay? That means to me that the one who he feels most safest with is Tito. The one who he looks at to rescue him when Joseph or his mother is not around is Tito. It's something special about that Tito, you know? And like I said, don't forget that he has a album out. Actually, it's not out now. It was released last year, but it's pretty good, y'all. Go check it out. Fortunately, Marlon Brando's son, Miko, who worked for our family, thought quickly and furiously rubbed his hands through my brother's hair to smother the flames. Someone else had the presence of mind to apply ice to the wound and keep him warm and calm until the paramedics arrived. Okay, before I go forward, let me say this. I think that was when we were introduced to Alfonso Ribeiro in that video. I can't remember whether this was before or after Silver Spoons. And by the way, I had no idea that Ricky Schroeder was the bigot that he is. That ninja is off his rocker, okay? Because remember, Ricky Schroeder helped to pay for the little boy who just woke up one day and decided to shoot up a crowd. But yeah, Ricky Schroeder disappointed me because I used to have a terrible crush on Ricky Schroeder and Alfonso Ribeiro. Like Michael Jackson, I don't see color neither. I went directly to Michael's private hospital room. He was lying in bed, and I remember thinking how small he looked, like a child. "Mike, are you okay?" I asked tenderly. Though he was in tremendous pain, he answered, "Yes, I'm fine, LaToya." But he was very anxious about the skin and how badly he'd been disfigured. Since the burns were on the back of his head, he didn't know how severe they were. "How does it look?" my brother asked. "Does it look like it will be okay?" The wound was an angry-looking mass of scorched tissue about the diameter of your palm. It was hard not to wince, but I said, "I'm sure it will be okay." and quickly changed the subject. Around the same time Michael was recuperating, the press was linking him romantically with Brooke Shields, the actress and model. My brother had been as sheltered from the opposite sex as I was. He too believed that sex came after marriage and marriage was the goal of dating. Up till then, he'd had only one close friendship with Tatum O'Neal in the late 70s. Tatum, just 15 then, was in some ways more sophisticated than Michael, running with an older, faster crowd. Okay, pause. Remember when we read the Diana Ross book when she was dating Ryan O'Neal, and the reason why Ryan O'Neal and Diana Ross didn't last was because of Tatum O'Neal confusing the relationship between her and her father? It was kind of sick because I believe that in ways Ryan O'Neal led his daughter to believe that she was his one and only true girlfriend. And she believed it. We always found it so strange that her father, actor Ryan O'Neal, regularly left her and her younger brother, Griffin, unsupervised for days at a time. But for them and many kids in Hollywood, that was considered normal. Shit, that was my life. I keep telling y'all, my mother gave me everything I wanted, me and my sister wanted, but goddamn it, I didn't know the bit. Despite the press's portrayal, Michael and Brooke's relationship was a friendship, plain and simple, at least in Michael's eyes. It was obvious to Janet and me that she had other ideas. About to watch a movie with us at home, Brooke would declare, "I'm going to sit by Michael," grabbing his hand. "Michael, where are we going to sit?" Janet and I concurred that she was a bit forward, especially when she started making plans for them as a couple. Brooke longed to accompany Michael to the two upcoming music awards shows, the 1984 American Music Awards and the Grammys, and pestered him about it every chance she got. "Michael, I'm going to be your date, right?" For a supposed question, it sure had a right of finality to it. "It's going to be you and me, right?" Well, Michael laughed nervously, just like when it came to business. He could never say no. He turned to me and whispered urgently, "LaToya, say something." "It's your problem," I hissed out the side of my mouth. I don't know if I'm going to take anybody or not," he replied at last, though to no avail. "Sure you are," Brooke said happily. "The two of us are going." Later, Michael cornered me and asked, "LaToya, how can I tell her no?" "You just have to tell her, Mike." Janet, who really couldn't stand Brooke, calling her Giraffe butt behind her back, eagerly offered, "Let me tell her." Michael surrendered. "No," he sighed. "I guess I'll take her. But you know," he lowered his voice, "she tried to kiss me." "She did?" "Yeah, she's more aggressive than she looks." Listen, y'all. Listen, I'm not shocked at all. If you see any of the videos of Brooke Shields talk about Michael Jackson, when I say that lady is enamored with him, I mean enamored. I am so surprised that she did not accost that man. Michael, Brooke, and I went to the American Music Awards together. It was one of the longest nights of my life. First of all, I was seated next to Brooke. Farther down the row sat singer Julio Iglesias, whose voice I love. I listened to his records all the time, thought he was extremely handsome, and kept his calendar resting on the fireplace mantel in my bedroom. Throughout the show, Brooke whispered excitedly to me, "LaToya, Julio is staring." No, he isn't. If she said it once, she said it a dozen times. So for those of you who don't know who Julio Iglesias is, I don't know if he's still alive, but he also has a son, right? That is a Latin lover man too. But Julio Iglesias was the deal. Remember also Diana Ross went to his mansion to have a rest. Now, she didn't say she hunched Julio Iglesias, but I mean, girl, it's Julio Iglesias. I think you should try. I never thought he was the most attractive, but I just knew it was just something so special about him when I was younger. But he was truly a big deal. Then there was Michael's behavior. It was one of those times when I wanted to kick my brother in the behind. Every few minutes, he whipped out a mirror and stared at himself in it, twirling his curls and cocking his head to check every conceivable angle. After the 20th time, I leaned close and threatened, "If you take that thing out one more time, I'm going to snatch it and throw it under the seat." "I've got to look good when I go up on stage," he answered, never taking his eyes off the mirror. "They're going to call me up any minute. How do I look, Brooke?" "Oh, Michael," she cooed. "You look great." I can't believe these two, I thought to myself. Glancing around, I caught Julio Iglesias' eye, and sure enough, he was winking at me. What an evening. Michael received his reward, and after the ceremony, we attended an exclusive party thrown by CBS Records. I was meandering through the room when I heard a loud gasp. "Oh my God, LaToya. Look at you. Look at you." Before I could react, Julio grabbed me and started kissing me. And I mean really kissing me, not just like little pecks on the lips. Damn. That's like Monica, even though I don't know the Julio Iglesias. I don't know him, but I don't know if I could accept a person randomly just grabbing me and sucking face with me. That's a concern. Julio popped into a chair, pulled me onto his lap, and kept kissing me. Finally, I politely excused myself and slipped away. Julio soon became a good friend of the family's. Once he came right out and asked Mother, "What would you think if I married your daughter?" Ooh, Diana Ross ain't happy about that. "Don't even pay attention to him," I said. "He's just kidding." "You know, Michael," Julio continued seriously, "one day I could be your brother-in-law." Later, Michael said to me, "LaToya, he really likes you. He told me so." We ran into each other sometime later in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and once again Julio tried kissing me, but I pressed my lips tightly together. "LaToya," he scolded me in his Spanish accent, "you kiss like a grandmother." He kept embracing me and touching me in places that I guess are okay for some people, but not for me. From this time on, Michael's superstardom attracted more and more women who wanted to exploit him for his position, his money, and what he could do for their career. One of my biggest fears is that my brother will never get to know if a woman really loves him for who he is rather than what he is. By then, Michael had been in the public eye for a decade and a half. But after Thriller, the media treated him as if he just landed from another planet. He wasn't merely famous. He was a phenomenon now. And the repercussions were on a grander scale than anyone could have imagined. She goes into all these crazy people that tried to get at her brother and the family. You want to know what the hell happened? You buy the damn book. You give LaToya her whatever it is that it costs to buy the book. Because I'm not getting the copyright for y'all husbands. My bags were half packed when Mother walked into my bedroom without her saying a word. I knew she was confused and surprised. "I'm moving out," I said. "I'm leaving."
Jackson.
I'm the oldest Jackson.
And Tito Jackson.
The swingin'est Jackson.
And Marlon Jackson.
The dancing'est Jackson.
And Michael Jackson.
The skinniest Jackson.
And Randy Jackson.
The cutest Jackson.
Let on me, mama.